Hello and welcome to Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing The Long Road, directed by Francis Lawrence. This is a film with very obvious metaphors about how an authoritarian state tells us everything is okay when it's not, and how it establishes hope by the one person that makes it, the lie that it's possible for anyone, when in fact it's only possible for one person. The story is from a book written by Stephen King in the 1960s, and that book seems to have been gesturing towards young men being sent off to the Vietnam War. However, the metaphor clearly has relevance today in a world where young people are increasingly being asked to endure hardship for systems that promise purpose or success, while quietly accepting that most will be broken along the way. I must say that I did find the metaphor very heavy-handed. There's no subtlety in it, and it's pretty much the same all the way through. It becomes quite predictable. And I found the actual concept of the long walk around which the metaphor is hung just a bit absurd. Post Squid Games, this just seemed a bit lame overall. There are a few positive things that I can say about the film. First, the range of characters is good. The young men quickly build up a rapport with each other, and this feels authentic and convincing in one way. It does feel like the camaraderie that might be established by a group of young men being sent off to Vietnam. The actors are all good, particularly David Johnson. He's very different than in Alien Romulus and Rye Lane. Cooper Hoffman's also good. I think these two are the linchpins in making the camaraderie work. And I did appreciate the stripped back simplicity of the film. They're pretty much literally just walking along a road through a desolate America. There's very little colour to the journey. I liked some of the images, long shots of these groups of men walking along a road with various skyscapes behind them. Now that's about the most positive I can be about the film, so let's talk about some of the problems I had with The Long Walk. First, I find it hard to understand how they actually would pretty much all be so friendly and instantly get on with each other when they're in a deadly competition where only one of them can win. The concept of the race isn't the same as going off to Vietnam, where it's probable that some of them will die, but they're not in competition with each other. Second, everything about the film just feels so contrived. I was never fully on board with it. Some of the deaths are gory, so I think it's supposed to feel shocking, but I wasn't invested in the characters enough to really care when it happened. A third issue is the way the men were all dressed. It just seemed so unrealistic that they're all dressed and prepared like they're going on a day out. If you're going in a marathon event like this, I'm sure you'd spend a bit more time getting your clothes and backpacks appropriate to the task. On the subject of what people were wearing, one of the main characters has to lose his shoes at one point, and this is a long way before the end of the film. Yet after this, he just keeps walking as if he's wearing shoes. My final gripe is Mark Hamill's performance. It's somewhat bizarre. His character is so exaggerated, like the sheriff out of Dukes of Hazzard almost. The ending leaves you asking some questions, and there is an ambiguity about the ending. I googled it and I understand it now, and there are similarities with the ending of the Stephen King book, but there are also some differences. Overall, this isn't a boring watch. I didn't hate it, but it feels really weak and shallow, with metaphors that are just so obvious. There's no nuance. This director did some of the Hunger Games films. I don't love that franchise, but his work there is a lot better than this, I think. He also did Red Sparrow, which I think is a fantastic film. The Long Walk is disappointing alongside those other films. I really can't recommend it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.